Oh, now it's funny.
It's funny.
Now
that
it's
game
funny.
is supposed to be a very smooth game for Arsenal.
These arguably could be the weakest City side we've seen in the Pep Guardiola era.
Nobody is talking about how Pep have not find a way to replace all these goals from Mahrez and Gudogan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mamas and papas, I am Folajimi Oluwasegun James Akinshola, but you can simply call me Jimmy. I have the honor and privilege of being the host of the best podcast on any platform anywhere in the world. It is, of course, Budweiser's Kings of Football show. We are broadcasting live and direct on X Space, and we're also available on YouTube. You can catch us every Monday right after the weekend's action in the English Premier League. Now, of course, I will be doing a lot of talking about what's going on in the Premier League, but I will not be doing it by myself. I do have the privilege of having two kings. One is a very proud and pompous one. The other, humble, very, 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 very well articulated, doesn't like to, ruffle feathers. So let me introduce them to you. You can tell who is who just by, when you see them. Ladies and gentlemen, starting off with my brother, my friend, that is, of course, back from the great beyond, the one and only, Ozomena. If you're wondering who we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, let me not save his blushes for too long. Let's get him on screen, on time, right now. In fact, the one and only, how did they say his thing? Or the especially the anti-Arsenal fan, the one and only Pooja is in the house. Pooja, how you feeling, bro?
I'm good.
Are you sure?
The funny thing is,
now it's funny.
It's funny.
Now
that
it's
game
funny.
is supposed
Okay.
to be a very smooth game for Arsenal. But you guys find a way to make it very hard for
Wow.
you. No, it was already a write-off for everybody.
Okay, so Pooja, let me simply ask you this. Now, Arsenal is not in a position where you can take shots at them. No matter what you say, you're going to have to give accolades to them.
Yeah.
So I wonder how today is going to transpire for you.
You know something, Jimmy? It's just like Black Friday. Promo lasts. So
For 24 hours. Right. We don't know what team she supports, but we do know that she loves our country with all her heart. She is, of course, a veteran when it comes to the game of football. She's been to World Cups. She's been to African Cup of Nations. She's played club football at the highest level. She's well decorated from the cadet level to the highest point of football. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a legend in our midst. And of course, she's known for her goal-scoring prowess. Ladies and gentlemen, Desire Oparanozie. How you doing, mama?
I'm very well. I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's really a pleasure being here. Thank you.
I love it. You don't know how long I've been a fan of yours and the way you play the game. Like, whenever I see you on the field, I'm just like, yo, man. If I have a daughter, I want her to just play exactly like you. Very strong, very confident. I love the way you play. I just want to say a big shout out to you. Thank you for joining the show. So first question I got
Thank
for you.
you.
Do you have a team in the Premier League you support?
I used to support Manchester United.
Used
but
to is the key
their-
word.
their
Used to.
current
You are a wise
form-
person. You are a wise person.
Yeah. Their recent form haven't encouraged me, and so right now I'm neutral.
Oh.
I'm just supporting good football. Whoever plays good football, that's where I am.
Also,
So you
please
mean
answer her.
so you mean Arsenal then?
Yeah.
Yeah, currently, yes.
Exactly,
yes.
exactly.
And
Don't
that
worry,
can change.
I'm sure you were supporting Man City until they started losing too. But hey, who's checking?
Exactly. I'm a chameleon like that.
I love
you
it.
know?
I love it.
When
So
wherever the grass is green.
we go and step
go
on
there.
it. We go there. All right, talking about when the grass is green, we're going to be talking about my Man City. I'm going to come back to you shortly, but let me get the opinion of the guys in the studio. And for everybody listening on X Space, remember, if you're watching on YouTube, there is a chance for you to win 50,000 naira as well. And of course, we'll be giving out as many things as possible because we are that magnanimous. Speaking of magnanimous, a team that has been giving away points. What is exactly going on at Man City? Now, of course, also I remember when De Bruyne got injured, a lot of people were talking about, oh, this might affect them. I also remember when Rodri was unavailable because of suspension, they did show a chink in their armor, so to speak. They showed vulnerable form. Now, the last four games they've played, they've lost 3 and drawn 1. What's going on at Man City?
You know what it is when you watch the City side, and I know there've been some people.
Is it crisis time?
No, not yet. Because I think it will be so immature for people to write City off. Of course, we know how the sports media world works. Is now we have something that could be used as a major headline, and you could say crisis at Man City. I don't think it's crisis time yet, but one thing you can say from the City side is this arguably could be the weakest City side we've seen in the Pep Guardiola era. Of course, if we go further back, we could
You
see.
say weakest? Just a couple of weeks ago, we're waxing lyrical about how they have Grealish, Doku, Foden,
I know,
a plethora of
but-
options in
but-
every department.
No, but I mean,
How are they
I know,
weak now?
Of course, we've done that. But if you look at the way City play and Pep Guardiola's style of play, of course, you definitely don't want to be Calvin Phillips, where your manager's coming out to say how he feels
just
sorry
don't
for
see
you.
you.
You're a nice guy, but when I
envision
imagine
this
when I
team,
envision the team,
I
I
don't
don't
see
see you
you.
in the team. My goodness, like I was listening to that stuff and I was like, if you're a football player
Bruh.
and your manager, in fact, actually not just a football player,
Like, I don't see you as part of this team.
in any
Oh my
walk of
Lord.
life,
That is
if
crazy.
in any walk of life, and your boss speaks about you that way, it's just like I don't
See,
know. I don't know how you want
also
to
he's
feel
a
about
great
that.
presenter,
I'm telling you,
he does his job.
But
I
when
just don't
when
see
I
him as part
vision
of
the
the
show, I
plan.
don't see him. I don't see. When I vision the show, I don't see him sitting on the couch. He doesn't sit well. Like so, but the thing is, when you look at this City side, we need to understand they lost Gundogan. They lost
They let him
Mahrez
go,
as
I
well.
think.
I mean, of course they let him go, but it's one thing about the style of play. It's also one thing that also has to do with leadership. Because if you look at some of the leaders in that team, they've lost some of them along the line in some of the previous seasons. But there's a reason no team has won 4 Premier League titles in a row. There's a reason when you win a treble, it's happened to most sides. Once you win a treble, because they say winning the treble is like going to football heaven. What next do you achieve after that? So it's always normal. I remember Pep alluded to this when he was referencing Arsenal, where he said it would be nice to see this Arsenal team win trophies and see how the players react. Because let's be honest, even as human beings, there's a certain level you get to. It's not like you stop trying. The drive is still
Just
there.
get comfortable.
But for whatever reason, it's easy for you to get comfortable. And I think with this City side, they're falling into that situation where they're still trying. They want to still be that great side, but it's just not happening. But on the other hand, teams now play Man City and they feel like they can have a goal. Yeah. Remember, for most parts, when teams play Man City, they just want to sit behind the ball and do whatever else it is. But now teams come to Man City, they're like, do you know what? We can actually try and hit this team on the break. Because you watch the Villa game and the amount of times Villa got the ball in their own midfield and they're trying to hit long balls in behind the City defense. It happened often times in that game. So it's one thing now where City have lost some leaders in their side, but like I said, there's a reason no team has won 4 Premier Leagues in a row.
I hear what you're saying, Pooja. I'm going to come to you real quick to analyze that particular game for me, because there's so many things to pick on that. But I want to get a player experience angle from Desire. Why does Manchester City struggle, especially when Rodri is not playing? I understand the fact that De Bruyne hasn't been available. He's their midfield genius, their mastermind. But then how come they don't have a solution or a backup for Rodri for such a big team?
Well, I think, like you said, Rodri, he's a key player in the team, and when he's not playing, you can obviously see the vacuum in that midfield when he's not playing. And if, let's say, for example, if De Bruyne were to be around, we probably wouldn't have noticed Rodri's absence and all of that. But these are 2 great, amazing midfielders that when they are not around, Manchester City, sometimes struggle to make an impact or get a win in a game. So I think, in every team you have one key player and maybe one backup that is also as
Very
good,
important.
if not on the same level. So I think that's what's happening to Man City now. 2 amazing midfield players. They are both, not available to help the team, and it's usually difficult to have a third player that plays in the same position
Ready
that
to
is
go,
as good as the first and second choice. So I think that's what what they are dealing with right now, and it's kind of difficult. And every team gets to go through this downtime. City can go on, for a very long time, 5 games without having to win anyone.
Pooja, I want to touch on something. Erling Haaland, he's recent form is that of a missing striker,
Yeah.
where he's more looking like Edin Nketiah than Erling Haaland. He's looking more like a Gabriel Jesus than Erling Haaland because he's missing chances. Now, missing chances is one thing we would relate to those individuals I just mentioned. Nketiah will miss a couple of chances every game, but Haaland, no. Now, this is not down to the service. This is down to your clinical, the standards you've already set as a clinical striker. He's falling short of that. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think I have to, tilt to what you said, before, also I was talking about the midfield. But if you look at Man City from last season,
Right.
they had spread of goals. Gundogan was scoring goals.
Everybody.
Morris was scoring goals.
Everybody.
It was a time, Alan was saying Foden, wasn't passing to him.
Because
was scoring
Foden
goals.
was scoring. Yep.
But this season, even last season, Alvarez, got double figures.
Yep.
So there was not so much pressure on Haaland to actually go all the way
Providing the goals.
and get all the goals. In big games, we saw KDB scoring in big games.
Yep.
Alvarez scoring in big games. But this season, if the burden is falling on the shoulders of
100%.
like he's going to do all the goals.
He always wanted the ball,
I
all
think-
balls to him, man.
Yeah.
True.
Now it's all
And
balls to him.
and if the goals are not spreading, the focus will be on the main striker, which is Haaland. And we've been seeing the mistakes, we've been seeing the missed
And he's been
chances.
found out in terms of how to shut down Haaland.
Yeah, and because there's no spread of goals, it's easy to shut him down.
Once
now.
you take him out,
Yeah,
you man mark him.
So
it's-
if
it's
there's
done.
no Rodri that can play the shot out, from if there's no KDB that can find
Create something.
or Mahrez that can just, or even Gundogan, and nobody is talking about how Pep have not find a way to replace all these goals from Mahrez and Gundogan. They scored close to 12, 13 goals last season, and this season, that short of it, Phillips is not even part
Let me
of
ask
the
you a
team.
question. How many years has Pep Guardiola been at Man City?
I think it's seventh year.
6 or 7, no,
it
7,
seventh
7.
This is the longest he's been at any club he's been at.
Yeah.
So my question is, and I'm coming to X Space right now. The question is has he overstayed his welcome in terms of his regular cycle of, being a champion at a particular club? Because he usually leaves after 4 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no,
He-
it actually has
and
4
after
years,
that, he
yeah.
leaves
Fourth
as a
year.
champion,
Yeah,
or he
yeah.
leaves when it's becoming clear that you're not going to be champion next season.
Yeah.
So, has he overstayed his welcome at Man City, or and is the cycle about to end? Because this is the closest we've seen to them being vulnerable
Yeah. No,
in the last 6 years.
No, I don't think it's just like everything in life. Let me use relationships. You're like,
As
you,
always.
you date a couple girls, date a couple guys. Eventually, you find your life partner, and then that's just where it is. So for Pep, it's the same. He has that normal cycle of just 4 seasons, and now he's found a place that is home, where the finances are there. I mean, we could still talk about the alleged 115 charges. We have no idea whenever that's going to drop, but he's found home there, and also the hierarchy at the football club. It's going to be difficult to replace a Pep Guardiola. So if you're the hierarchy at that club, you're trying to do any and everything in your power to make sure that this manager stays. You're trying to make him as comfortable as he can be. And I think Pep himself loves everything in and around Manchester City. So I don't think he's overstayed his welcome. I just think it's Puja alluded to the type of they've not been able to replace those goals. It's because they've brought in Kovacic, they've brought in Matheus Nunes. Those two guys are really not goal scoring midfield players.
At all.
So that's
So
a
it's-
huge
So
drop
their
off.
recruitment
That's just
hasn't
what it is.
been
It
at the
really
level.
hasn't.
Go
It
ahead,
really
Puja.
hasn't been up to par.
And to chip in one or two things, I think for Pep, that mental push to win the treble last season was too much on him.
True.
Because
So he's losing interest.
Because from the first day he got the job at Man City, it was they are going to win the Champions League. So the push, week in, week out, season in, season out, was to win the Champions League.
And now that he's done that,
And I think that took a bit of mental hedge from the team entirely. Because if you look at Foden, he's not in his shape anymore. Haaland feel like he has achieved a lot. So it's now you have to rebuild that mentality.
thank God Haaland didn't win Ballon d'Or.
Because it's been a close, it's been
It's
a
been
shutdown.
over.
Over. So I think you need to rebuild that mentality to actually face the title again. Because at the end of the day, they feel like they won virtually everything. And even for Pep, he has won from A to Z at Man City.
All right, let's get into our X Space right now. If you're on our X Space and you're a Manchester City fan, please put your hand up so I can get to talk to you and get your opinion on what's going on with Manchester City at the moment. Do you think the end of the cycle is near, or is this just a blip, flash in the pan? If you're a Man City fan, please put your hand up on X Space right now so I can let you in and get your opinion. I see Famous out here. You got a Man City jersey on. Does that mean you're a Man City fan?
Well, I supported Man City at the age of my 16 years when I loved Aguero.
Oh, Aguero was the reason why you became a City fan.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was the best, right?
So do you think that cycle of success is over now? Aguero has left, Gundogan has left. Whenever players are injured, the team doesn't seem the same. Haaland is missing chances. You people are losing games that you should never. I mean, who would have thought in a million years Aston Villa would beat Man City? I don't even understand that.
Well, we only need that Kevin De Bruyne in that midfield to buckle up our team.
That's the only issue.
And that of Rodri. We need them.
Okay, so Man City is a one-man team now. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate these comments. Very, very pivotal. Imanako, you're laughing off there. I don't know why you're laughing, but talk to me. You seem to be a Chelsea fan. It's not like things are happening any better for you, but go ahead.
Hello, Baba, I did now. Good morning.
Baba,
How
you
your
did.
side? Everywhere. Ozumena, my man, how you doing?
I'm all right. I was wondering why a Chelsea fan would be smiling or laughing. Why the F1
we don't have a lot of things to smile
point
about,
then.
so why can't I just smile about this one? I mean, man, I don't smile about a lot of things often. This season has been, to say the least,
So you're happy
chaotic
when
for
other
Chelsea
people are
fans.
suffering, Abi?
Definitely. Miss We loves company. So yeah, I'm happy.
So do you think that
But
cycle is over? Obviously, Chelsea had their own run when they were the
True.
big spenders in the league, and then they lost that opportunity. The run
I mean,
ended.
they are still the big spenders in the league.
Yeah, but to no avail. So do you think this whole Man City reign is about to come to an end? Because this is the first time we've seen them in fourth position at any time in the season.
Yeah.
The truth is that you can never write off a Pep Guardiola team.
He
Even
said it
Jurgen
so
Klopp
well.
said it in his last press conference. He said it in his last press conference that it's going to be the biggest joke in football history if you write off this Man City team. Just take a look at last season. They were 10 points off Arsenal. Although, I mean, Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, those guys played brilliantly, even though we are rivals. I thought
Thank
they
you.
were going to win the league. But somehow, somewhere, they crawled their way back into the title race. So there is a fact that if Rodri is so vital to how this Man City team plays, Rodri is the
And you
guy
don't think
that
that's a problem, that one player can just derail your course? Because remember last year, Arsenal lost Saliba and then they lost the title. The same thing is happening now. You lose one player at Man City, everything goes pear-shaped. Is that the remedy for success as you people have experienced the last couple of seasons?
actually that is a big issue for Pep to worry about. I mean, you won't think that, I mean, like with the quality of players that are available at his disposal, you won't think Rodri should be, I mean, like a big miss for them. But somehow, this guy, whenever he doesn't play, they can't seem to pick up a win. Check their record this season. Whenever Rodri is not playing, they have lost all their matches. So
Wow.
that is
Lost is the
dilemma
key word.
for Pep to figure out sooner rather than later. So yeah, like I feel they are a team with great players, and they will
So do you think they'll win
always
the league
find
this
their
year?
way back. I don't want them to win the league because that is a bad PR for the Premier League. Four
They're coming
times,
to a
no,
farmers league.
I mean for a competitive league, that shouldn't happen. So I'm going with Liverpool. But the way Gunners are playing, Mikel Arteta team seems like, I mean, like this oil-well machine who just know when to, I mean, they just seem to get the job done. Look at the amount of late equalizers Arsenal have been turning up with. That doesn't seem like luck. It seems like a team that, I mean, they don't give up and they just know when to, turn up the boiler.
The
So
Arsenal,
I thank you
Yeah,
so much, my
basically.
brother. I was going to ask an Arsenal fan to join in, but you've done the job for us. You've helped us blow our trumpets. We appreciate you, my brother.
That was
These
so
are the
much.
kind of ex-fans we want here that support different teams, but also know that Arsenal is the best. I appreciate you, my brother. I'll call on you shortly. In fact, answer our kickoff question. You might win 75,000 naira. I believe you. Emenako, I believe you. Super boy. All right, back to the studio. Now, I got to ask Desire this question. So, as a striker, you have a record, you're scoring goals, you're doing amazing stuff. Your season is, you're nominated for all the big awards as a top striker for your team. All of a sudden, next season, you start missing chances. What is responsible for this kind of loss of form, especially for someone that is so well heralded as the best striker in the world? He's missing chances. I can't say it any clearer than that. He's missing chances.
A lot of things contribute to these things. Sometimes when you're, let's say, injury could contribute to goal drought. When you're coming back from injury, you
Right.
come back with a bit of, you're scared, you're not, willing to
100%
go all
confident
in and
about,
all the
yeah.
way and all. Yeah. So it takes that confidence away. And then sometimes when, you find yourself in a goal scoring position, and then you miss it the first time and you miss it again the second time, that has a way of,
Playing
taking
on
your
your
confidence away as well. You'll be like, the third one, am I going to score? You start doubting your
Or you
abilities,
don't even want to
start
try,
doubting
try
yourself.
something else.
That's when, exactly. So that's where, your teammates and your coaches need to come in. They have to be there for you and talk you out of it and, see you through, that drought moment and all of that. So the thing is, some attackers, they handle it differently. For some others, it's not just about scoring goals for them. Like me, I've had seasons where, I found it very difficult it was difficult to score. But even when I'm not scoring, I am, working very hard. I'm assisting. I'm, helping the team to win. So then it now became, it wasn't just about me scoring. It was about me helping the team. Whoever scores, it doesn't really matter. That's another
long
way
as you
to,
get the win.
look at it and approach it. So it happens. And when these things happen, teammates and coaches, they find a way to actually, help the player to come out of it.
I hear what you're saying, and I appreciate that because obviously I'm also in recreational football. I play as a striker, so I understand when you miss chances a couple of times. You try and try something different that you're not used to, and then
True.
if it doesn't work, you're always gonna keep trying something different until you just decide, you know what, I'm just gonna pass the ball. Maybe if it comes my way again, even you might even see an empty net, you start doubting yourself. It happens like that. Trust
exactly.
me.
It
You'll be like,
happens.
make I no go play am
happens.
up. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it plays on the
Yeah.
mind. The mindset is a big deal, and I think Haaland is going
True.
through it at the moment. I think maybe it's because he didn't win Ballon d'Or. That's just affected his confidence.
No, but I think when you look at the Haaland situation, and I remember most part of last season, of course, we know Harry Kane is not in the English Premier League
Right.
anymore. And I was having arguments with some of my friends, and I said,
Harry Kane
listen,
also has had his own droughts as well.
No.
Yeah.
He has. But remember when Harry Kane first came in, he had this thing where every beginning of the season he probably wouldn't
He won't
score for the first 5 or 7
games,
8
yeah.
10
games.
games.
Yeah, he
games.
won't score, and then he's going.
Puja,
to click
you'd
into
know
it.
as a sports
and
fan.
and then he'll click into form. But as much as Haaland has been heralded as the best striker in the world,
Right.
I agree he's great. But I always said Haaland is that kind of striker that he needs a supply chain. He needs midfield players that can get the ball to him. He needs to be in a team where, of course, we've seen he's broken records every single place he's
You need to
been.
be fair.
So that tells you something about him, that he's a great striker, but he needs that supply chain. Compared to someone like Harry Kane is that guy where and just like the way Desire said, where Harry Kane is that guy that even when he's not scoring, he's offering a whole lot more to the team. Harry Kane can drop into that number 10 role. He could drop. He could spray the passes. Almost be like an extra midfield player for the team. So I think that's one thing. Haaland needs to add more of that to his game, where even if he's not scoring the goals or he's not finishing as he should, he can add a whole lot more. I mean, we saw in the Villa game where sometimes you could see Haaland trying to drop all the way back to try and get the ball and make things happen, which is actually not part of his game now. So I think that's something he needs to add in his game as well.
For sure. It's been an exciting season so far. Nobody can actually put a finger on anything. All right. I hope that is very clear and understood. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, 50K is also available for you watching on YouTube right now. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mamas and papas, I thank you all for joining us on Budweiser's Kings of Football show. Last words going around the house. Desire Oparanozie, what's going on? Mama, how you feeling? Give me your final words.
Amazing. I feel good. I mean, I'm terribly feeling very bad not being in the studio with you because I have to be away from Lagos, but it was an amazing show. I hope I can come on the show maybe once I come back to Lagos. We should certainly do this again. And thanks to all the organizers. Thanks to everyone. Pooja, also.
Thank you.
Jimmy, you guys were amazing. I had a fantastic time
So let me
being
ask
here
you
with
this.
you.
I can't have you here and not ask a question about our darling Super Falcons. We've qualified for the Cup of Nations, WAFCON. So I need to know, what's your expectation going into that tournament? What are you expecting from the girls?
Oh, I mean, just like every other Nigerian, I expect the girls to, go out there and win. We need to redeem our image. You saw what happened at the last Nations Cup. We couldn't even, get a bronze medal, So, and then with our performance at the World Cup and, all the work we've, put together after that and qualifying now, I think it will be a good place to,
make a statement.
Show ourselves again on the continent and, prove our superiority again, once again.
All right. I must say, well done at the World Cup. I must say, whenever you guys turn out, we are more excited to watch the Falcons these days than the Super Eagles. That says a lot. So keep doing what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Grease to your elbow, and I would love to see you again. Maybe next time in physical, so I could give you a big hug for being such a superstar. Thank you so much for joining the show.
It will be an honor.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
What is not an honor is having Pooja in this. I don't have the privilege or honor to say this, but yeah, Pooja, you've been exemplary on the show as always. Your analysis have been on point. You've been hitting the punches where the punches need to go. What's your last word? What are you excited about this weekend?
Not just them, a lot of football. I think the football, coming thick and fast. It's the festive period, so we have games, mostly every day.
No more international break.
No more international break until March.
Yeesh. It's always a pleasure having you. Ozo, my bro, what's happening?
I think this is one of those weekends where you're an Arsenal fan, you're worried, but you know that
you're excited kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is one of those weekends where you could learn a whole lot about your team.
And if anything goes wrong, it's fine.
Just hopeful the Arsenal win. That's just what it is.
That's all he's looking forward to this weekend.
And goodbye from me.
All right. If you're looking forward to anything more than just your team winning this weekend, then get to it. Be a part of it. All I must say is, for you to be a king, you have to act like one. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been the Kings of Football show, brought to you by the King of Beers, Budweiser. Peace, love, and respect.